Well, what are you doing here? This is the year 1986. My name is Kronos, and I took over the Time Traveler's time machine, and I have been looking at the greatest comics from the decade of the 1980s. And here we are in 1986, and there's a lot going on and more comic books to be seen. What happened in the year 1986, you ask? The Soviet Union launched a space station known as the Mir, manned by cosmonauts and astronauts to study the great beyond of space. Also in television history, on September 8th, 1986, aired the Oprah Winfrey Show, the most acclaimed and award-winning talk show of the time. It even went into the 90s and the 2000s, where Oprah Winfrey stood as the queen of talk shows. The year wasn't all that great. There were two major disasters that occurred, one of which was the Chernobyl nuclear disaster in Russia and Eastern Europe. Also, the Challenger space shuttle was launched into space and exploded. These catastrophes will be forever remembered in this year. Because of what was going on, the talk of nuclear energy, space exploration, climate control, and foreign affairs were hot topics in the year. And they also paved the way for regulations and making things better in the future. With all the seriousness going on, Americans needed some escape, and the top movie at the time in the box office was Top Gun. Talk about Maverick, Iceman, and Goose. That was the movie to watch. And Tom Cruise made it happen, doing a barrel roll and flying through the air was Top Gun. Well, since we're talking about movies, popcorn made its debut, and what do you mean? It's been around for years. Well, that's microwavable popcorn from Pop Secrets from General Mills introduced this novel concept of putting the popcorn in your microwave. And ever since, it's been smelling offices throughout the country. So this year, the Atari 7800 was released to try to compete against the Nintendo Entertainment System and the 8-bit graphics. But by that time, Nintendo already released The Legend of Zelda, those famous gold shiny cartridges that you can pop into your Nintendo NES. Was The Legend of Zelda, and it was a battery pack save game where you can continue and pick up where you left off, and that couldn't be said with video games at the time where you could save what you were doing. And Link and finding Zelda and going through the labyrinths in the overworld was a unique concept and cemented Nintendo as a major player in 1986. All right, let's get into it. What happened with comics in this year? Well, Dark Horse Comics opened their doors in Oregon and quickly became the fourth largest comic seller in the United States, with titles and indie concepts such as Sin City, Slayer 300, and also Hellboy. Dark Comics was here to stay and produced some really good 80s titles, offering some black and white books and a lot more. Michael Richardson took the helm with Dark Comics and took it to new heights. At the same time, just a year before, Pacific Comics, it even had great talent such as Neil Adams working for them, closed in 1985. So now we have Pacific Comic closing, Dark Horse Comics opening, and of course Marvel, DC, and more happening. What also happened in comics and a very popular series to be released was Batman, The Dark Knight Returns, and we were just talking about Frank Miller working with Dark Horse Comics and also Daredevil in the past. Well, we have him here working with a story about Batman coming back from retirement at the age of 55, 10 years after leaving the job and just leaving Gotham City to be. He's back in action, and here we have more of a gritty tale with some neat artwork inside. Also involved in the writing was Klaus Janson and Lynn Varley and Frank Miller. Both Frank Miller and also Janson were responsible for the artwork in these pages, and check it out. Look at all that. You see a new take, some of the happenings of the 80s going on. There's some prison scenes here, and just a darker tale of a more mature Batman taking the streets of Gotham City. Frank Miller took his own artistic license, and this was the It series to get in 1986. If you thought the Batman Returns series was way past cool, well, get a load of the Thundercats, also making their way in comics right there. And we have the first appearance in comic books with this series from Star Comics, a Marvel imprint. The Japanese animation company, Pacific Animation, brought to life the cartoon series featuring Lion-O, Tigra, also Panthro, and more in this great team from space with this fearsome action. And opening up the pages, we get to see splashes from outer space and the story beginning and unfolding with the missions that include the Thundercats. Used to watch these early in the morning when they would come on before Tom and Jerry, before the Ninja Turtles, and even other series like the Transformers. The Thundercats in all their glory are right here, just to enjoy in the comic book form. But look at the action, the strikes and the movement. You could see the mix between space and the Thundercat. This third issue has more of a Panthro on the cover, but opening up the splash page, you get to see a nice tribute to Lion-O, the main character and leader of the group, and that cool Thundercat logo in the background. A great way to enjoy this property in comic book. The Thundercats are awesome. January packed a wallop, and so did February, as Marvel was introducing some new ideas and a new line called X Factor, featuring the noticeable X-Men that we've read about, Cyclops, the Beast. We have them all here, opening up the pages to a brand new adventure. We're getting into some cool action right there. Also of note, GoBots. Great advertisement for the toy line, changeable toy figures from cars and autos to robots, just like the Transformers. And just a little bit before the Transformers, we have GoBots. And here they're also on the next page advertising Nesquik. We have the Nestle Quick drink right there. So a nice little GoBot spread right there to top off this Marvel introduction of some great action with mutants. And that's X Factor, because you demanded it, the dramatic return of the original X-Men. In April, DC was also brewing up some things of their own, including remaking the Superman origin story of Action Comics from 1938. Wayne Boring was tasked with drawing the new series right over here in this #1 issue of the iconic Action Comics story. Even opening up, we have the car chase going on right there, and seeing some of that action that we saw in the original book, panel by panel. Looking here as we have the car being lifted overhead and getting to that sequence right over there. So pretty neat to see DC redoing their original comic for Superman in this particular book. They decided to be truthful to the likeness of the story, and here it is, in years later, in a remake of the original. And this remake is very faithful and good to that famous issue of Action Comics that we see Superman for the first time. That was April, but in the month of May, Star Comics does it again. They brought us the Thundercats earlier in the year, and now they bring us the Masters of the Universe, featuring He-Man. And by the power of Grayskull, here he is in his own comic book series with Star Comics. And this year was great for these movie adaptations and TV shows, because they were everywhere and kids could pick up what they wanted and enjoy in the comic book medium. And check it out, the pages there scream the action of the Saturday morning cartoons. Again, you even see Skeletor right on the pages there, brewing up some menacing evil. Even the castle you can see from the show is right even in the panel there. So a great way to get your hands on this fun. There were no DVDs or no VHSs, a lot of them really, but the comics and the TV show were all you had. He-Man goodness, great artwork to be had, even the bad guys that we know. Just a lot of fun to revisit these characters right there, and just drawn much to the likeness of the TV series. So cool, awesome. In between advertisements for GoBots and Transformers, and also Oreo cookies with this maze right there, these were entertaining comics. They're just a great escape and a great way to catch up on the fun and glare into the eyes of the evil that lurks around. Masters of the Universe also had a few more great covers that included this one right here. We have the meteoroids right there, flying in the sky, transforming and taking shape. After all, the 80s are about robots and transforming things. Also, the chamber there, right there. This happens to be issue number 3, already showing some great action. And also the final issue, the last issue of this series. It only made it to lucky number 13. And here lies He-Man, scratched out, Skeletor lives. The confusion is yet to be had in these pages. Masters of the Universe in comics, what more can you ask for from 1986? You can always ask for more, because even after that, Superman relaunches again with the Man of Steel series with DC Comics. Dick Giordano and John Burns create the artwork here for this neat limited series. Anything about the 80s to know is that there were a lot of limited series, sometimes 4 issues or even 12 issues like the Secret Wars, but these little miniseries, some were really good. And this one was one of them, where we have more of another origin story of the Man of Steel, kind of rebooting him in a different light. Artwork's really good. After all, it's John Byrne. And Dick Giordano's been with DC since the beginning of time. And he's no stranger, a great editor. And here we have the alien capsule from Krypton and the origin of Superman once more in these pages. And just him growing up again, getting used to Smallville, and growing all over again in this new series. So a different take, a different spin, and of course some great artwork to be had with this issue right here. In August, we have something truly epic happening, and I mean epic, with Epic Comics right here, a Marvel imprint. And we have Electra in her own series, as we talked about, lots of miniseries. This happens to be an 8-issue one right there. And we can't go without saying the name Bill Sienkiewicz, a more mature work, a more developed piece right here. And he even describes his transition from doing work from Daredevil in previous artwork to this one here. This was heavy stuff, as he called it, in an interview in this issue right here with the Electra right on the cover. So great timing. This book came out right as they were interviewing Bill Sienkiewicz in a full-page spread, as we have him right here. And he was born in 1958 in Pennsylvania. And one of the most frequent questions that he gets is, how do you pronounce your name? And that is Sienkiewicz, and Bill Sienkiewicz. And talking about Electra and what he thought, he literally writes on the top right over here, "My God, what did I get myself into?" He worked with a lot of different mediums, from paint to acrylic to even paper and mixed media, and it took a lot of time to create each panel by panel because of the gravity and the technique that he employed. So Bill was very proud of his work. Pretty psychological, heavy-duty stuff, as he says right here, and really takes the character to a new level. This is a great issue right here of number 34 of Comic Interview that talks about Bill Sienkiewicz and his project with Electra right here. And let's take a look at this artwork. Opening the page, you can see different styles, from a more simple drawing to more complex, layered, gritty, dark, almost like the cinema as we see over here. So Bill is evolving. He's evolving in the 80s to some truly cool stuff. Even here, just the way he draws the background gives it a more horror, dramatic look to it. The windows, the shades, even some of the details with the white on black negative space. Drawing Electra right there, almost painterly, And getting into it, this is a different tale, one that's a lot darker, and you can even just see how the art changes from panel to panel, and this truly marks Bill Sienkiewicz's claim to fame right here. So Electra, 1986. What's amazing about this year, we go from one month to another and these major comics have come out. Batman Returns, Electra, Thundercats, He-Man, and we always want more. And this year gave us a lot of that, including Alan Moore with Watchmen, the first issue, an iconic cover, one that's well collected by 80s collectors today. Decades later, we have the Watchmen in their series, eventually taking on a movie and also a series on TV. They have stayed around for a long time, and this cool cover you see in the posters of dorms and high schools everywhere. And here we have the start of the pages and these panel by panel splices. I don't know what screams 80s more than Watchmen, and the beginning of this series, all the different characters, much like the X-Men and much like the team before, we introduce some interesting characters that take on a more familiar feel as we read the story. And just look at that, even the clues being left behind, it just tells you of a greater story to come, and this is Watchmen. And another fun fact about the year was that Marvel was celebrating their 25th anniversary in comics. And here we have two familiar characters, the hero that started it all with Marvel, a very popular mainstay, Peter Parker's Spider-Man, and the newer heroes of Wolverine and Logan. And what's neat about these covers is that they have a border wall that shows all the characters from Captain America to Hulk to the new X-Men and even more on both of these. So these were a great tribute. There's a whole series even featuring Hawkeye. And one of the most valuable bordered covers for the 25th anniversary happens to be the Care Bears. That issue is worth well over $300. You can see it right here. And this was a 25-year anniversary of the year 86. And truly neat. So if you're in the wild and you see these, great to see and to pick up. The month of December concludes with another notable series with the Transformers. We talked about them before, but this time it's a three-part series, and you can see the 25th anniversary logo, the movie edition. Very fun, colorful artwork. This happens to be the first part of the series, followed by issue number 2 right over here. And it focuses on the animated movie that came out and also the Sharktacon. So new series, there's the Decepticon, Sharktacons, and even more. And look at this cover right here with this gigantic outer space robot to conclude the movie series. So what makes up the 80s? The toy lines from GoBot to the Transformers to Masters of the Universe to even more. And this was what was fun about being an 80s kid, is this cool stuff. I have the Time Traveler's Time Machine at my disposal. I can do whatever I want. I can pull comics and toys or anything from the past. Ooh, how I want to see all the comics and toys. Do you want to see what was out there in the 80s? Ah, let's do it. Let's make it happen. I'm gonna go get those toys. Ha 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 ha. Ah, look at all the toys before me. They're sprawled all over the place on this table. You could see everything, even the Hot Wheels and the Ninja Turtles. Oh, this is truly great. And that wraps up the year 1986.
Kronos, you're not supposed to.
Where did you come from?
Bring that time traveler back. Give me the time machine. Give me the time machine. Wet Willie, Wet Willie. Now I got the time machine back. Time to get the time traveler back to this realm. I'm going to use my watch and this to coordinate it.
Whoa, I have such a headache. I don't know where I was. Oh my goodness.
You're back.
Oh, thank you, Peter. Good thing we both have these Jordache time-traveling devices. These are very high-tech and the only thing that'll bring us through the subspace and rifts of time.
Yeah.
Boy, I sure am glad to be back. I have my time machine. It's still working. Peter, how can I thank you? This is amazing. You
Yeah.
saved me. I was floating in space because of Kronos.
It's just totally tubular that you're back in this realm away from that awful Kronos, man. And you got the time machine, and look at all the stuff that Kronos left us, though.
What did he leave over? He left a
It's
big
like
mess.
It's like a garage sale. What is going on?
It's an 80s explosion, it looks like.
It's
right
great.
here,
This is
Peter.
my youth. This is our youth.
Oh, man. He even left the glasses here.
Whoa.
Ooh, and a hat, too, no less. Oh, these are pretty rad.
These are pretty rad.
I wonder what he did while I was gone. Oh, my God.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Created a lot
Got
of
a
chaos.
hat, too?
Kronos.
You have a hat, too?
I
Like
got
that?
a hat, too.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. Otherwise, now we're back in the 80s, and I'm back to show you the rest of the toys and comics from 1987 to 89. Let's finish this right, Peter.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you remember the California Raisins? I remember seeing them on TV, Saturday morning cartoons.
I love that. My favorite was the Christmas special many years ago.
Oh, when they used to have Christmas specials.
Exactly. And they had the wise men sing, or the camels singing the Three Wise Men song. It was really cool. Oh, it's 3D,
This is
man.
3D. Let's flip our glasses so we can see. Whoa!
Whoa!
Look at that. They're hanging out right here. They're just chilling like a villain.
Whoa! They're coming right at
They
me.
got their Walkman on. That is totally cool.
Yeah.
80s. Oh, man. How about Gumby? Do you remember Gumby, Peter?
I do. And Pokey, his little buddy.
That's the two figures. Check that
Oh,
out.
wow. Hey,
Yeah.
Gumby.
Gumby, how are you?
Oh,
Ah.
I'm good, Gumby. How are you? Woo!
Gumby. I remember seeing this on WGN, Channel 9 in the Chicagoland area.
Yeah.
Really cool. It's like claymation. If 80s was anything, claymation was the thing. And also
Absolutely.
animatronics, right, Peter?
Yeah, animatronic. Yeah,
You
it's
remember
got
going
a
to Chuck E. Cheese and
Oh,
seeing
yeah.
the band that played the music?
Showbiz Pizza. That was our jam. Yeah.
Showbiz Pizza.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Speaking of
Yeah.
animatronics,
What is left here? Oh,
the
my
time traveler
gosh.
left. Bring up that box, Peter. What you got
Whoa,
there?
what is it? Oh, it's
Teddy
a Teddy
Ruxpin.
Ruxpin
This
with
is,
a price tag from Toys R Us still on it. $49.99. Whoa.
how about that?
And what's this? Is this his little buddy, Grubby?
Grubby. And with the back here, you can put a story in there, a cassette tape. Just
Yeah. Oh, wait.
You kind of unsnap it
Kronos
right
left
there.
some over here too. Wait a second. Let's see. So you take it like that, and
You
you
got the cassette player.
stick it in his back, and he will talk to you. I don't think the batteries work in this guy do today, but
His eyes would blink, his mouth
Yeah.
would also move, and he also comes
And
with a storybook as
Grubby
well.
would talk. Yeah, you could follow along.
The 80s were rad, and this is 1985. World of Wonder Toys created Grubby and also Teddy Ruxpin, and in that time it was the thing to get. Forget your Furbies, forget all those other Tickle Me Elmos from the future, but in the past it was right here, Teddy
Yeah.
Ruxpin.
And he taught you how to read really good too. Yeah.
Phonics is a good friend.
Yes.
Bunch of Hot Wheels right here, and this is the
Whoa.
Hot Wheels car case, very popular
Whoa.
ways to keep all your toys together. And these are die-cast metal cars, and they come with unique trays. The trays are
Whoa.
a bunch of cool toys. I'm just moving a few aside because
Yeah.
there's a lot to be had right here.
Ooh.
And what kind of
Dukes of Hazzard, man.
Wonder Bread? How about that?
Whoa.
Look at the detail and the likeness. Back in the day, even the doors in the back open. So that
Wow.
is kind of cool. So we have our
Yeah.
Wonder Bread truck. And then, of course, we have our tanks and our bulldozers right there. And these were Matchbox and Hot Wheels. And I don't know what kid didn't have these back in the
Yeah.
day.
Everybody had them. Everybody. Do they still make them? I think they do, right? Yeah.
They do. At the
Yeah.
local grocery stores and supermarket, you can get the latest editions. And now they
Wow.
even have variants of some
Wow.
of these cars right here.
Cool.
And this is the oldest one here in the collection, my
Wow.
personal collection. I remember racing my brother with these on a track with this one here. Now it's seen better days, but still were very loved.
Yeah.
And we even had an ice cream truck right there.
Whoa.
We got some labeling going, even some vintage old-fashioned cars too. So these are the toys to have. All the details and all the fun. It's just talk and
old Model T. That's awesome.
Just be with let's show that rack there.
Yeah.
I'll just kind of show here. Look at that.
Whoa.
You got some Vipers in there, a school bus, even an old fire car right there. We also have there's a vintage fire truck too. I'm going to pull that out here. This is interesting here. You can even see the detail as the camera focuses. Ladders and all right there. So really neat stuff. Look at what he left here. Even a Greyhound bus from back in the day.
Oh, man.
All right. This is a way to bring cars to life and roll in style in this Packard right there. So Hot Wheels. Do you have a lot of good memories with Hot Wheels, Peter?
I had a lot of Hot Wheels, a lot of Matchbox cars, a lot of Micro Machines. Remember Micro Machines? The guy would talk like this all the time, and he'd say, Micro Machines, get to Micro Machines. Yeah, Micro Machines.
From Galoob.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1987, the Micro Machines, and they were, before even Home Alone had them and slipping around as the burglars tried to make their way and break in, Micro Machines was a household name in the late 80s.
Yeah.
You know what, Peter, was cool in the 80s? The introduction of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
They were on VHS. They were on your Saturday morning cartoons. And right when you got home from school, at 4 o'clock, you turn on the TV and you hear Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Heroes in a Half Shell. Turtle Power.
And these comics were all the rage. Right here, Archie had a rendition of the TMNT property, and they're more playful, more colorful, not like the darker 80s ones that we saw from 1985, but here we have the ones modeled after the Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah.
Look at the Shredder. Remember the Shredder?
Oh, Shredder.
And the Splinter, who was the sensei and master that taught the four heroes how to fight and take on the Foot Clan. And these were the earlier books that started off as a mini-series for Archie, and eventually a full-run series. And these were the earlier ones to kind of test the market to see if the young ones would take to the stories. And you can even see here that they were part of a miniseries, 3-issue miniseries. So you have 1, 2, and 3 right there. And of course it was going to be popular. And we also have the toys from Playmates. They distributed and created all the toys that we know.
Yeah.
And this is a carrying case, Peter. This kind of has all of them in there. And some nice
got the thing on the top to carry it.
You
Whoa.
can carry it along with you to
Go
your friend's
best
house.
bud's house, yeah.
You can battle each other with this.
Absolutely.
They're not dolls, Peter. They're action
figures. Yeah.
So this is it. And let's open up this box, shall we? Let's see what's in there. It has a little clasp on the side, and it has a couple trays in there.
Whoa, Kronos. What did you leave? Whoa.
Yeah, he left his. I don't know what he was planning to do, but he certainly left these toys right here. We have April O'Neil. We have the Splinter.
All
and
the good guys.
Raphael. Do you know the name of this, his weapon?
That was a sigh.
Exactly. See, we know this. We're from the 80s.
Yeah.
You can't stump us.
Yeah. Not only did they teach us weapons and kung fu, they also taught us Renaissance artists as well.
Leonardo, the artist, Raphael, Donatello, and Michelangelo. They're in the Firenze. In Florence, they even have the statue of the Renaissance painters, the inspiration for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And they were slicing, hacking, and slashing. And for years to come, they were the it toys.
Absolutely. It was slicing, hacking, and everything else to the bad guys and their pizza too. Cowabunga.
Pizza power. And who are the bad guys, you ask?
Look at that. They look bad. They look bad.
Right over here, we have Bebop and Rocksteady right there. You can hold Bebop right there. I'm going to hold... Where are the Toidos? We gotta get them.
Yeah.
Crush Toidos, crush Toidos. And we have their weapons you see in hand right there. Even the belts and the fashion are pretty advanced for the time because they even have little micro little accessories there.
Yeah.
Like this little sewer cap as a shield. Then we have the shredder right there. And you'll note some shredders have a squishy head. They're the original ones because there were complaints that young kids were hurting themselves with the helmets. So this one actually has a squishy head. Do you believe they have that?
Yeah, wow.
And then later on we have from the Dimension X, the main enemy Craig was a brain housed in a robotic body. Talk about artificial intelligence in the future. You already had it in 1980s with Craig and of course the foot soldiers. There were many of these weapons attached to, like this one right there.
Whoa!
Looks like that looks like a skip it. Remember the skip it?
Yeah, skip it. Yeah.
Maybe that's what the foot soldiers do to train. They use to skip it. But yeah, these were the characters in full armament, and that was the Ninja Turtles. Do you have any good memories with the Ninja Turtles and the action figures? If so, leave a comment below. We'd love to hear it. And what about the Turtle Van?
Ooh, what is that? Yeah, look at this.
Turtle Van. All right. This is in the box, cardboard there. You can see the artwork, and that's also the fun of looking at these toys. The actual artwork that was right on the box there. You remember seeing this at Toys R Us and KB Toys?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
They even had like the Slimer one too, for like the sewer Slimer. You could put this neon green goop in there. This one doesn't have any slime, but let's open up the box and see what's in here.
Yeah.
You even see the price sticker. How much did it cost back in the day, Peter?
How much did it, what was that?
Was it over there? Yeah, it looks like it was, I'm going to take a look here, $21.99.
$21.99. Whoa.
KB Toys. How about that? That's really cool.
Yeah.
And we're going to pull it back out, and we have right here the visor, the case right here. If we lift the lid, the door will actually open up so it can thwart off the Foot Clan, and it'll swing out like this.
Whoa.
And let's assemble this real quick. And we'll put one on the other side. And these are the blasters on the side.
Okay. And mirrors.
And the mirrors too.
Laugh gas.
Got the missiles and laugh gas, and this is a whole Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle truck right there.
Wow.
Equipped with 2 turrets on the top. We have the bumper sticker with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And these would actually fall out, Peter, from here. The tray would dump those missiles out. Yeah. Tripping, Bebop, and Rocksteady. And they would just fall on their backs right here. So this is the Party Wagon, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle vehicle. You can even see the sticker on the back, shows the motor and the windows. So a lot of details went into this right there. Even some of the side stickers. I remember taking this out of the box and peeling the stickers because there was assembly required. You have to put these together, put the stickers on, and all the little pieces on top here, including the radar. So this is the Turtle Van. Cool. Yeah. You know what was also cool back in the day, other than the Ninja Turtles and Teddy Ruxpin and Gumby and California Raisins?
What's that?
Transformers.
Yeah.
These are changeable toys. They change into different shapes. This looks like a seemingly normal truck, right?
But is it?
Is it? Let's see. In a record speed, we can change and move the feet around here, and it opens up. You can see kind of slowly opening up to take shape. You see some arms going on, some legs, some feet coming down right here, and then flipping the head up like that, we have Optimus Prime. Yeah! With the Autobot battling Megatron and the Decepticons, the Transformers are here to stay. A very popular, iconic toy. And Bumblebee was another character. We have Soundwave and a lot more, but Optimus Prime. This is actually a little bit from the future, but this is modeled after the Optimus Prime.
What was the bad guy?
Megatron. He was gray. He turned into a silver tank and had a big arm cannon. But Optimus Prime and his morality and good fortune did its best to keep the evil away. So it was a genuine battle of good versus evil. And Megatron and Optimus Prime would oftentimes duke it out. And now a big property. Even Bayless made a movie, right?
Yeah,
did a couple of them too.
Yeah.
With Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox, right?
Yeah, there's like 10 of those movies now, right? No, I don't
right,
know.
but it started in 1984.
Yeah.
Thanks once again, Peter, for rescuing me. And that was the 80s. These toys right there.
Kronos was a bad dude, but you know, he left us some really cool stuff from our youth. And I'm so glad that you're back in this realm to share it with me and you viewers out there.
It's good to be back. That was wild. But I must say the 80s were a truly genuine time. A lot of great properties, from the Transformers to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to all that we saw today. So enjoy. Leave a comment below of what's nostalgic to you in the 80s. All right. We're going to get some pizza. Pizza power.
Peace out. Yeah.